I am 73 years old. And if I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this. Stop waiting.
Stop waiting for the right moment.
Stop waiting to feel ready.
Stop waiting for permission, for confidence, for the stars to align. Because they never will. The moment you are waiting for does not exist.
It took me 50 years to understand that.
50 years of hesitation, of doubt, of watching opportunities pass because I was not ready. And now, as I look back, I see the truth with painful clarity. The life I wanted was always within reach. But I spent decades reaching for it with one hand while holding myself back with the other.
You do not have 50 years to waste.
You do not have the luxury of learning this lesson the way I did. So today, I am going to give you what I wish someone had given me when I was your age. The truth. Unfiltered, direct, hard. The truth about time, about regret, about what actually matters. Listen carefully. Because what I am about to tell you will either change your life or you will ignore it and spend the next 50 years learning it the hard way. Let me tell you what those 50 years looked like. I had dreams. Big dreams.
I wanted to build something meaningful, to create, to matter.
But I was afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of looking foolish. Afraid of what people would think. So I waited. I told myself I would start when I had more experience, when I had more money, when I had more time, when the conditions were perfect. I told myself these were reasonable excuses. They were not excuses. They were lies. Lies I told myself to justify inaction. And the years passed. 1 year became 5. 5 became 10. 10 became 30. And with each passing year, the dream felt further away. Not because it was impossible, but because I had convinced myself it was. I watched other people succeed, people less talented, less prepared, less qualified. And I told myself they were lucky. They were not lucky. They simply started. While I was waiting for perfection, they were stumbling forward through imperfection. While I was planning, they were doing. While I was hesitating, they were learning. And the gap between us grew wider every single day. Do you know what the worst part is? It is not the failure. Failure is temporary. Failure teaches you. Failure is survivable. The worst part is the regret. Regret is permanent. Regret is lying in bed at night, decades later, thinking about what you could have done, what you should have done, what you would have done if you had just been brave enough to start. That is the pain I carry now. Not the pain of failure. The pain of never trying. And I see that same pattern in you. You have dreams. I know you do. You have things you want to do, want to build, want to become. But you are hesitating. You are waiting for the fear to go away. You are waiting to feel ready. You are waiting for someone to give you permission. And while you wait, time is passing. Faster than you realize. One day, you will be 73 years old, looking back, wondering where the years went. Wondering why you did not act when you had the chance. Do not make my mistake. Here is the truth that took me 5 decades to accept. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. No one is going to give you permission to pursue your dreams.
You are waiting for a moment that will never come. You think one day you will wake up and feel confident, fearless, ready. That day does not exist.
Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes from action. You do not become brave and then do brave things.
You do brave things and then become brave.
Every single person who has ever accomplished anything meaningful felt the same fear you feel right now. The difference is they acted anyway. They did not wait for the fear to disappear.
They moved forward with the fear.
That is the secret.
Not the absence of fear,
But the willingness to act despite it. You think successful people have some special quality you lack. They do not.
they simply refused to let fear make their decisions.
Here is another truth. Time does not wait for you to be ready.
When you are 20, you think you have all the time in the world.
When you are 30, you realize time is moving faster than you thought.
When you are 40, you start to panic.
When you are 50, you start calculating how much time you have left. When you are 70, you realize it is almost over.
And you wonder why you wasted so much of it waiting. I am telling you this now because you still have time.
But not as much as you think.
Every day you delay is a day you will never get back. Every opportunity you let pass because you were not ready is gone forever. The clock is ticking.
And it does not care about your fear, your doubt, your excuses. It just keeps ticking. The question is, what are you going to do with the time you have left? Are you going to keep waiting? Or are you going to start? Right now.
Today.
Not when you feel ready. Not when conditions are perfect. Now.
Because now is the only time you actually have.
Let me tell you what happened when I finally stopped waiting. I was 54 years old.
I had spent decades in a career that paid well but meant nothing to me.
I had saved money. I had security. I had comfort.
But I had no purpose.
One morning, I woke up and realized I had been dead for years. Not physically, but spiritually. I was alive, but not living. Existing, but not experiencing. And I made a decision.
I decided that the remaining years of my life would not be spent waiting. I started the project I had been putting off for 30 years.
I had no idea what I was doing. I was terrified.
But I started anyway.
And something changed.
Not in my circumstances, not in my abilities.
In me. I discovered something I did not know existed.
Inner power.
Not confidence. Not fearlessness. But something deeper. The ability to act without needing to feel ready.
The ability to move forward even when you are terrified.
The ability to trust yourself when you have no evidence that you should. That is real power. Not the absence of doubt, but the refusal to let doubt control you.
I learned that fear does not go away.
It just becomes less important. You stop asking, what if I fail? You start asking, what if I do not try? And that shift changes everything. Because suddenly, failure is not the worst outcome. Regret is. Suddenly, looking foolish is not the worst outcome. Living a life you do not believe in is. Suddenly, the pain of action becomes smaller than the pain of inaction. And when that happens, you become unstoppable. Not because you are not afraid.
But because you no longer let fear make your decisions.
I am 73 now. I spent 54 years waiting. I have spent 19 years living. And I can tell you without hesitation, those 19 years matter more than the 54 that came before. Because those 19 years were mine. I chose them. I built them. I lived them on my terms.
The first 54, I gave those away.
To fear, to doubt, to waiting. You have the same choice ahead of you. You can spend your life waiting to feel ready. Or you can start now and become ready by doing. The power is already inside you. You do not need to find it. You just need to stop ignoring it. So what does that mean practically? How do you actually do this? Let me tell you what worked for me. First, accept that you will never feel ready. Stop waiting for that feeling. It is a lie your fear tells you to keep you safe. But safety is not the same as living. Start before you feel ready. Start with fear. Start imperfectly. Just start. Second, commit to something. Not someday. Not when things calm down. Now. Choose one thing you have been putting off. One dream. One project. One goal.
And commit to taking one small action today.
Not a perfect action. Not a big action. Just one small step forward. Tomorrow, take another. The day after, another. Do not worry about the outcome. Do not worry about whether it will work. Just move forward. Momentum is everything. Once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. But you have to take that first step. Third, stop asking for permission. You do not need anyone to tell you that you are allowed to pursue your dreams. You do not need validation. You do not need approval. You need courage. And courage is not something you have. It is something you do. Fourth, embrace discomfort. Growth lives on the other side of comfort. If you are comfortable, you are not growing. If you are not growing, you are dying. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. With looking foolish. With making mistakes. With not knowing what you are doing. That is where life happens. Fifth, measure your life by what you attempted, not what you achieved. Achievement is often outside your control. Effort is always within it. At the end of your life, you will not regret the things you tried and failed at. You will regret the things you never tried. So try. Try everything. Try and fail. Try and fail again. Just keep trying. Because a life spent trying is a life well lived. A life spent waiting is a life wasted. Sixth, remember that time is running out. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. Every single day, you are one day closer to the end. That is not morbid. That is reality. And when you truly accept that reality, it changes how you live. You stop wasting time on things that do not matter. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You start acting like your time is limited. Because it is. I am 73 years old. And if I could give you one gift, it would be this. The knowledge that you do not have as much time as you think. The understanding that the life you want will not come to you. You must go to it.
The certainty that fear is not a reason to stop. It is a sign that you are heading in the right direction.
I wasted 50 years waiting to feel ready.
Do not waste yours. Start today. Start now. Start afraid. Start imperfect. Start uncertain. Just start.
Because the only thing worse than failing is never trying.
The only thing worse than looking foolish is dying with your dreams still inside you.
The only thing worse than making mistakes is making none because you never had the courage to act.
You have one life. One short, beautiful, terrifying life. Do not spend it weighing. Do not spend it preparing. Do not spend it wondering what could have been.
Spend it doing.
Building. Creating. Living. And when you reach the end, you will have no regrets. Because you will know you gave everything. You tried everything. You lived fully.
That is all any of us can do.
And it is enough. Now, go. Stop waiting. Start living.